Welcome back to the Death, Taxes, and Bananas podcast. Did you miss me as much as I missed you? Now listen, I know it's no longer April or April Fools, but I wanted to play a prank on you all in mid-July, and that was leaving Josh Martinez's podcast up for the last month, so that's the only thing you've had to listen to, okay? Because the only thing better than a little bit of Josh Martinez is a lot. Kind of like Wes Bergman, you know? Every time I see one of the fans ask for a cameo from me, and they're like, I got one from Wes, I always ask, that's my first question, was it an April Fool's prank? Because that's what it sounds like. All right, but enough about them. We are here, ladies and gentlemen, to celebrate an absolute milestone, all right? And I'm not talking about the new contract I just signed with Spotify to keep this podcast in your ear, but also on your YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Ringer Reality TV. And I knew that. I didn't have to ask my producer, Sasha, what our YouTube channel was before we started, even though we've been doing it for now, like, I don't know, 6 months or whatever. All right. The milestone we're talking about celebrates a group of strangers 30 years ago, 3 decades, probably started before most of you were alive, when a group of strangers got into an RV, hit the open road, and absolutely changed the game forever. No rules, no filters, just pure, unadulterated chaos. Road Rules wasn't just ahead of its time. It actually invented a genre and a time slot. It crawled so your favorite shows and reality television superstars could run, and basically crashed into a ditch full of drama, or in one of my guests' experiences, into a bunch of trees. So today, on a very special episode of the Death, Taxes, and Bananas podcast, we are celebrating the 30-year anniversary of the show that made it all possible. And joining me to break it all down and to go back in the Wayback Machine, 2 absolute legends. First up, the man who put the Trailblazer in Trail Mix, the original reality television architect, the Godfather himself, Mr. Mark Long.
Crowd goes wild. Crowd goes
Coming
wild.
in fucking hot and fucking ferocious.
I hear neighbors pounding on the door trying to get in with excitement.
Yeah.
30 years ago, bro.
But is that neighbors or is that because we're in the studio next to us? Isn't next door backroom casting couch?
Yes, of course.
That's what it could
You're
be.
going there next.
Yeah. Right after this. There's actually a door. We're going through this door right here.
You said about first, but 30 years. So you got to remember, we had no cell phone. There was no social media. There was no GPS. So everywhere we went on that show was through a map. I remember visiting a city that I saw on the map called Tucson, Tucson. And I said, so we got to go to a city named Tucson. And everyone got made fun of that. But it was a time like no other. I feel like the crew was kind of our age as well. So it was a big, happy family circus traveling across the country. I think we went to 38 states in 3 months.
So you had to do it all by maps. And I'm assuming that probably the best map navigator is the man sitting to your right, the man whose bark is not louder than his bite, all right? Pound for pound, arguably the most fierce competitor we have ever seen on the challenge, the human wrecking ball in a Chicago Cubs jersey, the pit bull, the diesel, Mr. Derrick Chavez. Derrick Kosinski.
Hey,
Crowd goes wild.
Hey, listen.
I couldn't have picked 2 more iconic faces to represent Road Rules. So I'm so glad you guys are here today.
Listen, let's figuratively crash some RVs into trees.
Let's do it.
On this podcast.
Okay.
You know, I once said, let me give Derrick some flowers. I once said if TJ told me I had to go in a room filled with just gorillas and I had to pick one person to try to go in there and fight him with, it would be Derrick Kosinski.
I've said the same thing about him.
100%,
the
bro.
way I describe
100%.
him.
Give me a little.
Because people always ask, I mean, you get this question all the time too. What's this person like in real life? You know, is CT as big and scary? Is Derrick as tough? Is Wes as ugly? All of these are 100% yeses. But yeah, I always say with Derrick, it's like he's one of these guys that just he doesn't stop. He doesn't give up. And you really do have like this heart of, that we've never witnessed before. And I think watching two moments that you've had that I think where this really shines through, the riot, what was it? Riot Shield?
Riot Act and Cutthroat, when you literally took on basically two teams by yourself. And then obviously your infamous, bout with Joss. So where does that come from? Where does that intend? Is that something that's just been ingrained into you, or do you feel like, growing up, you've had a chip on your shoulder, something to prove? Man, do we want the, really in-depth answer here, or can I just owe it all to...
Well, you are drinking tequila out of a snifter, so I think we need to be as, sophisticated as possible.
I think just growing up in the Chicagoland area, being a smaller dude with with the father I grew up with, I think I had to grow up tough, and I had to grow up pretty fast, and I had to know how to take a licking. And I think, over time, you kind of learn how to get your ass beat, but you also learn how to get up and keep fighting. And being a smaller guy, I played 3 sports in high school. I was never the biggest guy, and I always had to find a way to win.
Rudy.
And I didn't always win. But you grow up going against bigger guys your entire life because everyone was bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you kind of, I think, just enjoyed the battle. Like I wish that I would have, growing up, it was just like baseball was around. That's what the kids in the neighborhood were doing. So you learn to play baseball. But I wish like the kids in the neighborhood were doing like UFC shit, Like I wish that's what my calling would have been. I wish that, I appreciate.
Because that's what you need. More hits to the head, Derrick. I think that would definitely help.
I will say this. There's a lot of cast members, and Darrell and I have talked about this now, even Wes. He's like, there's a lot of cast members now, especially a little bit of the older ones, like they would rather choose a nice thumb wrestle or puzzle than a hall brawl.
Yes.
He's the opposite.
I know.
He's like, give me a hall brawl or send me home.
Fucking douse me in gasoline, light me on fire. Yeah.
I watched the Joss thing with him the other day, and I remember after one of the rounds, he came back and his eye was like cut open and bleeding. I said, you probably loved that, didn't you? He goes, I loved it. Dude, I loved it. More blood, the better.
Here's the most psychotic thing about that, because we were actually just talking about this yesterday. For those of you who don't know, we are actually we're recording this in Atlanta. We just did a Challenge Mania event yesterday at Helium Comedy Club. It's fucking awesome. Challenge fans, we say this every time, are incredible, but Atlanta, you were incredible. But when we were in the green room before we went out, we were watching all these highlights that was kind of playing on repeat. I think it was, it was really getting us all hyped up. And we watched Derrick's elimination with Joss. And the craziest thing about that is all that you were fighting for was basically like pride, right? It's not like you were fighting to get paid more. It's not like if you won, you're going to get paid more. Your stipend's the same. It's not like if you won, you were going to come into the game. You literally did it you got your ass beat, or beat his ass too. You beat each other's ass for 2 straight hours or however fucking long that was. And it was just for like bragging rights. And it was just, and I think more than anything, it was like to walk away and be like, like this is how we roll, dude. And you really, really held it down, dude.
Yeah. I mean, it was more of like the love for the game.
Mm-hmm.
I had disappeared for a while, whether it was they didn't want me back, or I wasn't worthy to come back, or because I was married and had a kid and I was a little bit different than your average reality TV cast member nowadays, like you see on Love Island. Like that's not who, I was at the time. But I mean, it was literally for like the love of the game, and it was for the challenge, man. It was really kind of how you just put it. It was so people could remember what the challenge really fucking was.
Yeah.
And as much as, Johnny Bananas and the CT backpack have been, the grudge match,
Wait, the what?
The moment.
Wait.
Refresh fans' minds, because I don't think anyone knows what you're talking about. So guys, there was just one time.
I don't think that's it. That's my thing. Is that was such it was a moment, but I think that this moment was a 2-hour long moment, and that's what the fucking challenge is. It's that shit. It's not the puzzles. It's not, it is. It's all encompassed, but people forget like how hardcore the challenge really is. And I think that kind of embodied it. And
well,
I think
that moment was also special for what you were just saying, because the me and CT backpack moment, yes, it's like if you're a CT fan, if you're a Bananas fan, you know, whatever, you were happy or sad about it. The majority of people were obviously happy about it, but that was almost like vet on vet crime. I feel like with you and Joss, that was like the old school versus new school. And I think that's the thing is you had these, and that's why everyone loved it so much, is it was like, how can you not root for like old school and grit and fire and determination and fucking, you know, and that's what it was. It was like showing that it was like, listen, we might have a few more wrinkles. We might not be, you know, be as fast. We might have lost a step on you, but when it comes down to like intensity, heart, grit, like that doesn't go away. That doesn't go away. And I think you proved that. And to get back to what you were saying before, the love of the game. And Mark, like, obviously going on Road Rules, you didn't know what you were signing up for. You didn't know what this journey was going to be. But back in the day when reality television started, you didn't go on like, oh, how many likes is this going to get me? How many Instagram followers is this going to get me? What are the fans going to think? You went on and you were yourself, you were raw, you were real, you were unedited. And then when it comes to the challenge, you did it for the love of the game. So how do you see like that mindset, that mentality of cast members now changing from when you went on originally?
Well, the crazy thing is 95, guys, you got to remember, it was like zero electronics. You know, like I said before, there was no cell phones. There was no like cheat codes to anything. There was no put in the GPS and go here and turn right at this light. So it was like, we really were on our own. But because the fact that that wasn't part of the culture yet, the relationships we had with each other on that show were so real and organic because we didn't care afterwards what anyone would think or tweet or Instagram likes. We didn't care. So I think the friendships that we gained on a show like that, or even the early Real Worlds, was just such a deeper connection than I think now, because some of the relationships are so overly produced and like they do it because I bet you they would love if we dated, or I bet you they'd love if we fought. So there's an agenda going into it. Road Rules, and Derrick, you could speak on it too, but I didn't even know what the show was, because when I almost got on Real World Los Angeles. And then when I didn't, they called me from college and said, hey, Puck's getting kicked out. Would you like to come be a roommate change opportunity? Remember that?
That would have been.
So, dude, I flew. I'm on an episode of Real World San Francisco. They flew me in. It was me, and they ended up picking a girl because they kicked off the guys. So the guys were like, well, why don't we try a girl yet? This girl, Jo, who never turned out to be that popular. I think that the longevity of her. So I did that. Then they said, you know, we didn't get picked, but we love you. 9 months later, I'm doing a Road Rules pilot with 4 other people. And they told us at the time, you're not going to make the show if the pilot goes. So I moved to LA, and this is a true story. And I love saying this because it was so emotional at the time. I literally moved to LA by myself, drove out a pickup truck, had all my shit in the back. Hopefully no one stole anything out of it. That's how I was traveling by myself. I wrote a list that morning of places to go get a job in LA just to kind of support myself, because I wanted to get into entertainment business. So I had like restaurants, like the Cheesecake Factory written down. And literally there was a home phone back then. I didn't have a cell phone. The home phone in my apartment rang, and it was Mary Ellis Bunham and John Murray. She's passed, and she was such a huge part of this Bunham Murray franchise. But they both were on a conference call with me, and they said, what are you up to? And I said, I'm living in LA, you know, I'm trying to, I'm about to get a job. And they said, well, how would you want to do the actual show? And I said, well, I thought I could. And they said, well, they tried to cast someone to fit your personality, and New York shot them down. So we'd like you to do it. You just can't tell the other cast members that you did it. So I said, I'm in. And I remember, and I was telling you guys the other day, I remember ripping up the paper of like getting jobs. And I was like, man, this is like my first moment of like getting a win in like Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I remember like I called my mom, like they were all excited. I called my brother. So like for me back then, just the instant gratitude of knowing that I was going to do something that I love, and I didn't have anything to compare it to because it was season 1. I just knew we were going to going on a adventure of a lifetime. They kept saying it's a show about the group of guys and girls going on an adventure of a lifetime. So when I met everyone on that hill in Malibu to start it, it was like, you know, it was a coming of age kind of feeling. I was 20, and I was like, man, this is just going to be such a cool ride for me. And like, I love the Real World because this was new. I thought it'd be something new and different.
So the Real World at this point had been on for what, 3 seasons?
Yeah, it was It was right after San Francisco we did it.
Okay.
That's with Pedro and all.
With Pedro, yeah, that was an infamous season with Puck and Pedro's,
Puck and Pedro.
struggling with the disease he was fighting.
Do you know where? Okay, so Real World obviously was the first one. Do you know what inspired Road Rules?
Yes, I do. So that's a great question. So the original director, Clay Newbill, who now does Shark Tank, he's like been doing it for 17 seasons. He actually went into John and Mary Ellis and they had a conversation and they were like, what's more fun than living together or than traveling together?
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder what would happen if we put the same kind of dynamics in casting, but sent them on the road. And as a twist, let's have them doing cool shit while they're on the road to get to the next checkpoint. So that was, and I will say this, and I told Derrick the other day, I don't know why, I've always wondered why they kept me out of everyone, but I actually got to see the Road Rules pilot the other day, and I hadn't seen it. I almost forgot what we did on it, but I watched the pilot the other day, and within the 30 minutes, like in terms of checking off reality characters boxes, like I got in a fight. I had a showmance with 3 girls. It was like the epitome of what I think they're looking for. I'm like, now I fucking remember why they cast me because I was such a lunatic on this pilot. I'll send it to you. You'll die. But anyway, it was such a different time. I think everything was so pure. Even when I watched it back, it's not that dramatic or edgy. It's just real.
Yeah.
And I think because it was the 90s and everything was so happy and the music was great and everyone was, it was the perfect time for it. And I think it was the perfect sister show to Real World.
The problem is, dude, you know what? But that's what used to be enough.
Exactly.
And now the problem is we've gotten so fucking desensitized when it comes to music, when it comes to movies, especially reality TV, that if there aren't people, remember when the Britney Spears and Madonna kiss was fucking
the biggest thing ever? Yes.
Now you've got shows and it's if people aren't, banging 17 different people in a night and a barn animal, dude, it's just not entertaining. The shock value has gone up so much, and that's why I feel now things have gotten to this point where what people have to do for entertainment has really gone so over the top. But to your point, to this day, it's what I enjoy as a viewer more than anything. And we know this just from being in the industry, but also just being, good at reading people is authenticity and people who are being who they really are. And I think that's what's so cool about reality television in its infancy. And even when I did my first season of The Real World is the love of the game, dude. When I went on the challenge, I actually went on The Real World because I wanted to go on the challenge. I was watching you fuckers on the challenge. And I was like, I want to do that. I need to do The Real World as my stepping stone to get there. Obviously, I still want to go and I want to party and I want to get paid for it. I don't want to get a job. But when I went on, again, I think MySpace was the only form of social media out at the time. And so you didn't really go on thinking if I go on and I act this way, or if I'm this character, or what will the fans think when the fans be supportive? Guess what? Fans had no connection to us.
Right.
They couldn't, unless they fucking wrote down their feelings on a piece of paper and sent it to you in the mail. I think that's what social media, as much as it's helped in some ways, has also hindered the authenticity of reality televisions because now people go on with a character or with a persona or with I don't know, this
game
version
of
who they want to be because they're so concerned about what people are going to think.
Yeah, or what they think
is going to be
the casting people want, or what they think TV wants, which is car crashes. Because people and some people are willing to be that car crash. Yeah. We have a season coming up of the challenge. The pre-show. The launch special is July 23rd. And
season 41. 41, still having fun.
41,
insane.
Right?
Yeah.
And when we started this, when I started, I didn't have...
You're talking about Road Rules.
30 years ago was his Road Rules season.
So you were
20 years ago was my Road Rules season.
Okay, so
it's
you
my
were
20-year anniversary,
2005?
his 30-year anniversary.
When did you... No, wait.
2004.
2004 was Road Rules for you. Gotcha. Okay.
1995.
How did that... Because I think we could all relate. And what you were saying, I remember when I got the call too about The Real World, but that call when they're like, you're cast on the show, there's no feeling like it.
Oh, dude.
When did you get that? What was that call like
dude,
for you?
I got the call.
What was the casting process like too? How'd you get involved?
Oh, come on. We tell this story all the time. I was I was watching the show. I was watching an episode, and it said, if you'd like to be the next cast member, go to this website. And I was watching the challenge, right? And I was like, oh, fuck. You can do that? Like, I can sign up for that? Like, I could like do that for real? Like, because you never think about like, how do people get on TV? Yep. Like, you don't think like, oh, there's casting calls or like you have to audition. Like, that's like non-existent. Like, that's not real life to be like, oh, I'm going to go and try to get on TV. You know, maybe you living in LA and stuff like that, it was. But for me, just being a regular dude, you know, I was like, I didn't even know this was possible. So I went to the website and and there's a casting call I just missed in Chicago. It was like 3 days prior. And I missed that. So it was like, okay, but you can also send in a video or go to another casting call. So I tried to make a video. Like I went to my buddy who, you know, we had a good time. We just, you know, had a good time, and you know, we smoked a little weed and hung out. And I was like, hey, you get a, you know, do you have a video, a camcorder at the time? He's like, yeah, I'll find a camcorder. He went and asked his sister for a camcorder, and he's like, I'll record you. So he starts like recording me, and I'm trying to tell my like life story and trying to be like serious and honest. And every time I get like a minute in telling my story, 2 minutes in, this guy's fucking laughing at me. Like, you dork, he's fucking laughing at me. How am I supposed? So then I'm like, how am I supposed to tell this little tiny device my life story while you're fucking laughing at me? Like, how, you know, this isn't gonna work, right? So I ended up asking some girls that I would see at the parties if they'd be interested in going to a casting call. And they were like, you know, they're totally on board. So first I asked my buddies, right? And they were like, yeah, right, loser. Yeah, okay. You're going to get on you're going to try out for the real world? Really? Yeah, okay. You know, yeah, sure, you're going to make that. Yeah, we'll come with you. Okay, be right behind you. There's obviously just like, you know, busting balls. Like, they're not going to come with me. They didn't think this was possible, right? So I asked a couple of the, you know, the weed head girls, and sure enough, you know, they drove us there. They waited in line for 4 hours. They got up in a room with 10 other people who we didn't know. We were separated, right? Because they want you to be in a room with 10 other people who you don't know. And we talked about some things.
So, because they wanted to see what your interactions are.
Yes.
Were they watching this? The 10 of you were they watching this interaction take place?
So once we got in the room, the girls were separate because they wanted people.
You need that, Derrick.
They wanted people.
He's like, get this. What the fuck is this thing?
They didn't want you to interact with people that you knew, right? So the three girls, they were separate. I didn't even know them that well, but man, I went to high school with them or whatever. But you were in a room with, you know, like a little group, you know, 10 other people, and you talked about some things,
right? Yeah.
Gay marriage, interracial dating, what's cheating. They asked you, you know, what your favorite movie was, and you know, with my responses and replies, I think that, you know, I kind of stood out. And
I would have loved to hear your replies to those questions. No,
it was, I'm not even going to repeat what, because then what they do,
he's like,
listen.
He's like, in fact, when I showed up to a casting call, I thought it was going to be different. There's going to be naked people around here.
Dude, like, no. So we talked about some things, and then make an assumption about someone in the group who you don't know.
Oh, wow.
And so like, you pick one fucking person, and I'm the second person to go, and you pick the one person.
What was your assumption?
The rest of the people are fucking pissed off at you. They're like, well, I'm going to pick you. You're like, I'm going to pick you. We're very opinionated people. We probably wouldn't get along. I wouldn't, you know, like.
What was your assumption?
I'm not going to go
Yes, there. You can. No, come on, Derrick.
No.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Bro, listen to this. So
whoa.
Donnie.
Anyway, with my responses and replies, the casting director saw what was happening here. And I was like the fuse, and the fire was lit. And I didn't even know that I was doing it. You know, I didn't know I was going to piss off all of these people with what I just said. Mm-hmm. And I think they saw it.
Yeah.
And they saw a fucking scene happening right in front of them that would have probably been good on any, you know, TV screen at that time.
Well, at that time. And at that time, because that's what I was just going to say. What's so funny about how, you know, TV and society has evolved. And Mark, obviously you can speak to this because you started back in the 90s when, I mean, it was fucking lawless.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Anything fucking went. I think people obviously also weren't as fucking PC and sensitive as they are today because now everything's offensive. I think they just changed the name of manhole covers to sewer grates because it had the word man. It's fucking, we're living in a simulation at this point. But anyways, What's funny though is back in the day, Derek, like what you were saying, I don't know what you said, but whatever it was, it's probably not something that's, politically correct in this climate, but that's the society we lived in. And as casting directors, they probably saw that and they were like, this is some controversial shit. And this guy is going to go in. He doesn't care. He doesn't have a filter. He doesn't care what he says. This is going to ruffle some feathers. This is going to make great TV. So like, how have you, and
it was very raw and it was very real and it was very like innocent.
Honest. It was honest.
And honest. And you're telling me to basically call, like, I always say this, I don't like to assume because of course it can make an ass out of you and me.
Right.
And that's the first thing that I said. And then I said it.
Yep.
And then boom, everyone else was like, oh,
yeah,
I don't like you.
Good.
And
that's why they cast you.
Right.
And then they,
dude, first of all, when he was saying like, it was 1995 was so long ago, like I had to like hand fill out my application and then send it through the mail, like put a stamp on it. And hopefully, I remember coming home one time, I was coming home from like a football practice in late high school. Cause I was home from college. I came in and like, there was a hand note saying, an 818 number on my home phone, call this number, blah, 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 blah. So like, it was such don't want to say it was almost impossible to get them to notice you because you had to go through so many manual steps to even get the system going. Like now you can shoot your video on your phone, apply on your phone, but it was crazy back then. But like you said about the organicness and the honesty of back then, our biggest thing on our show was the last episode, Kit and I dropped our towels and went into a room together, right? So everyone assumed, what was going to happen there or not happen. But like,
you guys played Naked Twister.
That was like the big shocking moment of the season. It was just two people dropping towels going into a room. Nowadays, it's like, that's on the teaser reel that they don't even care about. You know what I mean? So like, I want to say, and even with early challenges back then, I think there's you're talking about differences of people getting cast back then and now is we would be fighting just as hard back then for $1 million as we did for a $500 gift card to Pottery Barn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so it was more for the love of the game that the prize was the bonus.
Yeah.
So like now because it's such a high dollar value in some of these shows, people will, stab their mom in the back to win.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of, I think there are possibilities and chances for real relationships and real core friendships, but I think back then it was such a deeper kind of bond you had with people. And even afterwards, you couldn't attack people on Twitter. You couldn't call people out on Instagram or comment. It was just, if I wanted to see them, I'd have to call them on the phone or write them a letter.
Yeah.
So the climate has definitely changed. I think, as a reality fan forever, I enjoy the path it's gone, but a lot of the times you're like, is this really happening or is this like a fake showmance? Like, you know what I mean?
No, and again, I question that all the time when I go on, whether it's a rivalry or whether it's a showmance, whatever. It's like, what is this person's true intention? Right. And that happens in the outside world as well. But to go back to your point about, the introduction of social media into the world of reality TV, I think that of all the evolutions that have taken place, I think that the idea of like cancel culture and the idea of that instant connection that fans could have, that was around for a long time. And yeah, there was fans that would be like, oh, I don't like you. You said this to so-and-so. I hate you. I wish you were never born. They'd say shit like this. But it wasn't until around the COVID time when people actually learned how to weaponize social media as a way to basically take down people that they didn't like or they didn't agree with. And it's almost like this weird end around the freedom of speech, right? You're free to say whatever you want. You can say and be whoever you want. But if we don't like what you're saying, and if we're able to find something, or we're able to, miscontextualize something, or we're able to take something, again, out of context or misinterpret something, and we can get enough people to hop on that bandwagon, then we can have you removed, and we can have you kicked off, we can have you deplatformed.
And then they feel like they have the power.
And in a weird way they do, because what's crazy is and I've seen this stat before, of the entire population, 10% of people are on at least Twitter. I don't know if it's all social media, Twitter. Of that 10%, like only a few, like there's a lesser percentage that's actually active. So nowadays, if someone tweets something or someone finds a tweet, whatever, and 1,000 people like it, which seems like a lot, that's nothing, dude. Because of like the entire like society.
Right,
So 1,000 people liking something now has enough has enough like, you know, venom behind it to literally have removed. And for us, we have chosen to put our lives out into the ether for public consumption. And I don't think people realize what that takes. I don't think people understand the amount of energy, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical energy it takes to go on and to be entertaining and to, you know, go into these physical eliminations, to deal with the mental strain that these shows put on us. And then off the show, the mental and emotional strain that all of the, you know, the blowback or all the negativity that we receive gets. And what people like a lot of times don't understand, and sometimes me as a viewer, I forget about this too. We're there to be entertaining. You know what's not entertaining? The guy that sits in the corner and isn't abrasive and doesn't stir anything up and doesn't make good story, right? It's the people that create, you know, friction. And I think there's so many fans out there that watch and it's like they lose sight of that. And it's like, guys, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. While we might be like this on TV, this isn't necessarily who we are in real. And it's like we also are fucking real people too, dude.
There's a lot of cast members that have reached out to me that it's almost like the easy part for them is actually going to do the show, but it's the after effects of social media, fans reaching out, going at them is the hardest part for them. I mean, at this point, the show's like, it's an easy thing to do. It's the after. That's why now we have to meet. That's why we have access to like the mental health coaches when we're done, because some of these cast members, like they just get brutalized online. And you're like, after a while you see one, you're like, brush it off. But if you see like 10, 2 dozen, it's like after a while that's got it, whether you're a strong person or not, it's got to drain you.
You said something a long time ago, Derrick, that's always stuck with me. And I've actually used this many times. You said,
I've heard this.
You've said reality TV, being on the challenge, being on the real world, watching myself grow up on TV. It's given me the ability to watch myself from like this third person perspective, vantage point that no one ever gets to see. And I've been able to take the things I like about myself and keep them, and crumple up the things I don't like about myself and throw them away.
Yes.
And that's what people, a lot of fans don't realize is the person that I am right now, the person you are that's sitting here in front of you right now is not the same person that was on the first season of Road Rules or My Dark Days, the fucking Island. I was 24. And it's like, and
that's when I told you that after the Island.
And and that's the thing is,
but I grew up fucking up. That's why I knew that. That's wisdom.
Which is why I'm fucking, and you know what? I think fucking up on national television is what has enabled us to be the people that we are today. Because people are like, oh, do you regret doing this? Do you regret saying that? And I'm always like, no, you know why? Because it was doing that or saying that then taught me that it's like, okay, that's not funny, or that's not fucking cool, or that might have been cool then when you're 22. Or it's not cool when you're 42.
Or I didn't know it rubbed that many people the wrong way. I didn't know I was rubbing people the wrong way. So like, I can change.
Yeah.
And like these people fucking up on TV left and right.
Well, also who you are and what you think is cool and the people you idolize and the way what you idolize when you're 23 is not the same as when you're 42.
And I will say this, I wish some of the fans would allow characters like that, like, you know, the people that are abrasive, or you look back and you're like, I hated myself on the island. I wish they would give people like that a little more grace and let them evolve and mature and recognize that this isn't who they were. Like, I saw a thing lately, I don't know who it was, but like, we pulled up a tweet from 2011. I'm like, 2011? Yeah. What were they, like 15 at the time? So like, I think, you know, and for a thing like All-Stars, right? Let's just talk, like for All-Stars, like, you've seen like the evolution of like a Jordan Naya thing, right? It's like they can be terrible back then, and you should give them the grace to mature and be better people and not be those people, right? And I think seeing yourself from that third perspective and being able to be like, I love that about me, let's not do that anymore. The audience should allow us to grow and respect us for that.
And what I love is every single person out there, every single person that is trying to shoot us down, deplatform us, cancel us, where bring someone from their past. What's so funny is it's like, you've done and said the exact same shit, if not worse. The only difference is
it's not on camera.
Right.
Did it on camera because we are, once again, putting our lives out there for public consumption.
Yeah.
So, you can't fucking start looking in my closet until you know yours is clean, dude.
Yeah, but that's the problem is like they you don't know their whole life. And the reality is, and I appreciate you continuously putting that wisdom out to even cast members that you see are having a hard time going through this reality TV road that we didn't know what the end of the road was going to be. Like we're still on the road, thankfully. Some, people in our positions have fallen off, have fallen into like bad shit,
right?
Have only taken on the bad parts of reality TV because they don't know what they're fucking walking into.
Yeah.
Luckily for us, we've been able to do it this long. Thankfully for the fans, thankfully for, lots of reasons. But like, I'm just glad that sometimes I hear you put that wisdom out to people and say, listen, the beauty of being on reality TV is you get to watch yourself and you get to keep what you like, and you get to watch yourself and get rid of what you don't like. We have that opportunity. We have that luxury. Not a lot of people do.
No,
because people are out there still fucking up their lives and, doing bad shit because you can't check yourself. Yeah. You don't even know you're doing it.
You think it's,
people don't know that they're doing it.
You don't.
Exactly. And trust me, and this goes to every single
fuck up, mistake maker,
or every critic out there that is like, I didn't like the way that you were on this fucking season, and you were a real dickhead when you did this. Trust me, nobody hates 23-year-old Johnny Bananas on reality television more than 43-year-old Johnny Bananas, okay? So I get it. I look back, there's some things that I said and there's some things that I did that I fucking cringe at. But to this day, I mean, dude, that's why if you go to like a college or you're like around, you look at these younger guys and you're like, you guys are fucking dorks, dude. But that's the same way guys in their 40s looked at us.
Right, 100%.
And their 50s looked at us when we were younger. So it's like, what people don't realize and what fans don't realize is you're not taking into account that it's like, yes, that's what I did and that's what I said. But that's what I did and said when I was 23, 24, 25, my early 20s. And
you're allowed to evolve.
Exactly. Change.
You're allowed to mature.
And,
But to the critics, like you said, like, to the people that are like just bashing, people on TV, like even like the Love Island stuff. I don't watch Love Island, but like obviously they've been in the news lately and of like, issues that they've had or even whatever issues on the show. Like, listen, you're going on a fucking dating show where you're just like, I hate to say it, but it's like borderline. Look, it's almost X-rated, right? It's like you're taking turns, just like going from like make out to make out to make out to make out to make out.
Yeah.
On that, you know what I mean? It's
you're
like
it's speed dating on steroids. And then once you've kind of linked up with someone, it's like, now we're going to remove you and put a bunch of other smoke shows in the house. Then we're going to tell you that you need to explore your options with other people. So it's basically like we are going to force you to fuck up, and then we're gonna fucking light you on fire for doing it.
And you're gonna let your emotions get out there. Like these people are like letting their emotions just spill, whether it's like mad, angry, sad, in love, outraged that like you're fucking the person that you just fell in love with is gonna go home. Like people are criticizing them, but they're in this like game. Same thing with like the challenge. Like this isn't a real game. It's not like, it is real life, but it's not a real situation that you have in real life. Like, yes, in real life, like we play the game of going to work, having families, whatever the case may be, going to school, going to college, whatever. Like we play the game of life, but we don't play the game of the challenge with these people that are trying to.
Well, that's too
cut your throat.
There's so many people I think that bring the challenge game home. Whereas as you get older, you really do see it as, hey, I'm going to play a game. And look, I might be a certain way on the show, but when it's off the show, like I'm still your friend.
See, I don't think everyone has the ability to do that. And I think this goes back to what Derrick was saying earlier about, I think one thing that, and the reason that, obviously the three of us are still as close as we are, is it's like, I feel like there are certain people, we've all been given the exact same fucking deck of cards to play with. We've all been given the exact same platform. We've all been kind of given the same opportunity. And I feel like some people have taken that and they've run with it and they've managed to like, you know, all these years later still be helping push it forward and still in their outside lives maintain some semblance of sanity. And what I've always said, and this is what I tell people, is I've always managed to try and keep a very clear delineation between my reality life and my real life. And I think what's enabled me to do that is in my real life, I have a foundation, I have a stable home life, I have family, I have friends that aren't necessarily involved in reality TV. And I've always said that what's, I think, kept me from completely spinning off the reservation is this world is chaotic, dude. This world is unfucking hinged. It's unbridled. It's insane. It's intolerant. It's all of that, but it's also fucking awesome. But in order to be able to experience that and use that to grow, you need to have stability in your life as well. And I think the people who have fallen off are the ones that don't have that stability
at home. Yeah.
But unfortunately, those are the people that make the best reality TV because they're already unhinged. But when you go on a show like The Challenge or a Love Island or one of these crazy shows, and you're going into an unstable environment, from an unstable environment, you have no way to like ground yourself outside of it. So your entire life is chaos and you don't have that ability to go home and to decompress and to unwind and to kind of come back down to normalcy, you know? So I think that's kind of.
I just think it makes it so much harder for like social media makes being on reality TV so much harder.
100,000 times
like,
harder.
If you're a bad guy or you have, you know, villainous tendencies and people don't like you, they're coming after you and people cannot handle that.
Nowadays, they'll call your job and try to get you fired.
Bro,
I know you said stuff and like try to get you like removed from
I know you said you don't watch. I mean, you love Watch Island. Watch Love Island, but this season
I watch Love Island from my news feed. This shit's been in people.
The fan.
BBC
I will say
World
this.
News.
Right. I will say this. I don't give a shit. And we've dealt with some fucking pretty gnarly fan bases. The Love Island fan base is the most superficial, shallow, negative, fucking group of human beings that have ever existed. I did After Sun last season, okay, which is me sitting on a panel with the host and with the co-host, Maura and Sally, and all I was doing was breaking down costs some more. And from somebody like myself, who is a reality television journeyman veteran, from a male perspective, give us the insight on like what's going on with the guys' heads inside. That was it. Right. I was there as like someone in the booth.
Right.
Bro, just me posting and Love Island posting that I was going on, the fucking hate that I got from this fan base. What the fuck is this loser doing? Go fuck yourself, you old fuck. Why are you? And I'm just like, yo, I've never dealt. I have never dealt, and I've dealt with some shit. Just them posting that I'm going on as a co-host. And then this season was so bad that Love Island actually had to come out with a statement because one of the girls that went on, young girl, she's 21, she's had quite a bit of work done. They were so fucking nasty to this girl that Love Island had to come out with a statement and be like, you need to stop cyberbullying her because you're literally going to cause real harm and real damage to these people.
Yeah.
And it's just, dude, it's just
that's
nuts.
The sad part is that those fans just feel like they have the right to do that and break someone down, especially when, like you said, they never turn the mirror on themselves. No, right? Ever. It's always ever. That's why after a couple more years, you guys realize after a couple more years, I'll be eligible for the Golden Bachelor.
I was, you know what? I'm glad you said that because
look at this guy.
So as the Godfather, as the self-proclaimed godfather of the challenge and of reality TV.
Line them up.
How have you managed to, I mean, you've been in the game for 30 years. You're still kicking ass into your 50s. What do you, attribute your longevity? And I've always looked up to you for this reason because, like, even though I call myself like, oh, I'm the Peter Pan, you're fucking Peter Pan, dude. And I've always loved this about you, Mark, because it's like, you're the true definition of grow old, never grow up. And I love that because I've always been of the mindset, you know what ages you? Not time, your mind.
Yes.
And when you let your mind get fucking stagnant and when you let your mind get complacent and when you basically just kind of like this is it. And that's because time's relative.
Yeah.
Time as we know it on Earth does not exist anywhere else in the fucking universe. So one Earth day, one Earth year, one Earth minute is different. If we were on another planet, we'd be fucking 10. So it's all about our mind. It's this concept of time. But like, what do you attribute your longevity and like this mindset that you have, dude? That's like youthful fucking energy that you always had, which is so infectious, dude.
I think, the main kind of engine that pushes me is that I had a family life. My mom and dad, who you guys know well, they have such a young spirit, and they've always pushed me to do something I love. They were never like, you should do this, you should do that. They're actually encouraging me. So the fact that as a little boy, I loved entertainment. I loved every aspect of entertainment. I wanted to be involved, whether it was hosting or acting or whatnot. So the fact that I had a support system that always pushed me in that direction, even when, I still have to this day, my dad and my mom have never been like, why don't you go get a real job? Like, what I do is a real job.
Yes.
It's just a very lucky path that I took.
And I'm glad you said that. What is a real job?
Yeah.
Oh, are we getting into this conversation?
Sort of, just a little bit, but going back to what you said, yes, they've always been supportive.
So they've always done that. And the fact that, I've never seen myself, I always kind of bench myself against like other people my age.
Yep.
So like, I've always had a young spirit. I've always had a zest for life. I've always been like a risk taker. I've always wanted to have health and fitness be a huge part of my life in terms of nutrition. So like, when you have that as part of like, for instance, it's my lifestyle now. I don't wake up and have to go to the gym or have to live healthy or have to go do some stuff.
Or have to sleep in a fucking bunk bed with a bunch of kids in their 20s.
Right. So like now it's part of my lifestyle. So like, it's just normal for me to live like I did 20 years ago, physically, health-wise. If I want to go party one night in Miami with you, I go do. I'm not like, man, I'm in my 50s now. I shouldn't be doing that. It's like you said, the number means nothing to me. It's how I feel, how my mental state is, how I feel physically. Like all of that stuff to me is what keeps me going. And like I've always said it, like I really think myself now would whoop Mark's ass at 25.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Up and down the street, twice on Sunday. So like, I just feel like I'm in such a good knock, whatever space that it then makes you a happy person. Then you breed positivity. I've actually had people come up to me and say, man, I wish you weren't so positive.
I know.
I'm like, what do you mean? What am I supposed to be, a fucking dump walking around like
they want you to be a train wreck.
Yeah,
because they are.
They want you to be negative.
Like, God damn it, why do you have such good energy?
Yeah, that's it. And I'm like, I'm just not that guy, man. I want everyone to win.
Nice. What a
You know
dickhead.
what?
You guys call me with, I love when you guys call me with your problems.
You know what my favorite thing is? I love seeing some random video of a fucking little monkey riding a bicycle, jumping or on a roller skate, jumping over a stick. And I'm like, why does it be? And I look and it's liked by Mark Long.
Yeah, you know what?
Or like the monkey in like getting bathed.
Right.
On roller skates.
I send him alligator stuff.
Yeah,
Whenever I see a fucking alligator in Florida doing something wild, I send it to him.
We have a good alligator thing. And by the way, you guys don't know this. Every time he gets eliminated from the challenge, he will call me from the location and we debrief.
Yes.
Sometimes I walk him off a ledge.
It's not just been that, dude.
Yeah, it's a lot of times.
When my fucking sex tape accident released, you were the first person I called. I'm like, dude, my life's over.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. I don't have a sex tape.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
What?
What?
And here's the other thing. This is what I always, because people are like, dude, like the same thing. They're like, you're so fucking, like you have such like a young spirit, or like you're immature is what I get accused of. Or
some people get mad at it.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar called me an overgrown man baby, but whatever.
That's pretty good though.
I know, right? And then here's what I love about it. That article, he called me an overgrown man child, and then he called the new generation of challengers and reality people a throbbing scrum of fame-hungry desperados.
Wow.
Nice.
Fucking
Nice.
amazing.
That's a good
Incredible.
string of
Can
words.
we interview them together?
We
I
should.
want to do one.
So, but here's what I feel like. You ever seen like a wild pack of animals where it'll be like, I don't know, bears or lions, and then there's like a fucking cat that thinks it's a bear,
Yes,
or a lion because it grew up with the pack? I feel like that's how it is for me. Where like, because
You grew up around man babies?
No, exactly. No, or because we're still doing shows where we've aged, but they keep on bringing people in their 20s, early 30s, whatever, younger people. And that's who we spend so much of our time in a house with. So it's almost like I feel like I'm emotionally stunted as like in my early 20s because since my early 20s, I've been doing the exact same thing.
For like the first like,
and I'm a fucking and I'm an alligator thinking I'm a lion.
Right.
dude. At like, I think for my 30, I think for my for my like 37th, 38th, and 39th birthday, I celebrated as like 22. Like 3 years in a row, I was like, I'm turning 22 again and again and again. But you know what? I always say it's how young you are at heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I used to say that to people when I was in my 20s, and they're like, "Man, you're so young." And I'm looking at them in their 30s or 40s or whatever, people in our little, communities, and I'm like, "You are as young as you are at heart," and and I'm still saying that to myself 20 years later.
Which is crazy.
I
remember I vividly remember being 18 thinking that 40 years old was so old.
30. I remember when I went on Inferno 3 and Timmy was there and I was 23. And I remember seeing Timmy, he was like 31. And I'm like, damn, dude, this guy's still doing the challenge. Fucking 43. You're 50, still doing it.
Yes.
But this is the other thing I always remember when we were on X's 1 and I was, I don't know what I was probably mid 20s. I think you were 38 at the time. And I remember.
X's 1, I was 40.
Okay. And I remember.
and it was the biggest thing. Press Hilton came out with the thing.
I remember like before one of the challenges, we had like that little gym outside. And I was like, I'm going to go, Mark, you want to go work out? You're like, nah, I don't know what we're doing, but I don't want to be sore. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't want to be fucking sore? What are you talking about? Now? That's me.
Yeah.
Legit. I see these guys working out the day before the challenge. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Or people would drink, they'll be, in the backyard playing football, and all of a sudden it's like, dude, you guys are going to roll an ankle or fucking blood and knee. When you're younger, you didn't think about shit like that. We'd get drunk and beat the shit out of each other, not worried about like the consequences.
No.
Yeah.
No,
I'm just telling you, man, it's like you said, like we've been stuck in this time warp, and I always hate the people that are like, they get mad at you because you still do it.
Yes.
They're like, because
time to move on.
It's
time
jealousy.
to hang it up. Yes.
It's jealousy because they wish they had an opportunity to do all these cool things. So when they say
they wish they
when are you going to do something like real? I'm like, this is what is real to me. And this is what has provided me a really cool life.
Yes.
So it's like, I don't want to like go work at a fucking bank.
For a long time.
No, or have a 9 to 5 in a cubicle. And that's what I always say is I'm like, okay, if people are like, when are you going to get a real job? And I'm like, all right, hold on. So a real job, what are like the qualifications of a job being real? 2 weeks paid vacation a year, whatever, a bonus. I got to show up 9 to 5, 5 days a week, whatever. I get like sick days and I get a 401k. Guess what? I will take the traveling for a living, getting paid to do fucking awesome events, have people on a fucking podcast, sell merch, travel the fucking world, get to compete and do shit that people would literally give a limb to do, get notoriety for it. Like, I will take that. If that's what you consider a fake job, I will take the fake job
10 times out of 10.
10 times out of 10.
But 15 to 20 years later, like we created this, right? Like we created a made up job. We have a made up job. You you can't just be like, all right, I'm gonna go to school for this, and then it's gonna go like it's gone the past 20 years, right? Do challenges, then you interview people that have been on the challenge. You go fucking do comedy clubs, talk some shit. They're gonna get mad because you get to drink while you're on your job. Like, fucking it's a made up job.
Yeah.
It's a made up job, but that's the job.
But we had to work to this. It's been taking 20 years to get to the point where you're like, I make a little bit of money being that asshole that I was 20 years ago.
This work is
it wasn't
fucking
like
hard.
that back then.
Here's a funny thing. I'll be like, my brother or something, like, what are you doing today? I have to send out a bunch of emails for work.
Yeah.
Well, what do you do? Like, what's that? Like, who you email? Like, what do you don't, I'm like, it's like, no, you still have to kind of keep the train on the tracks.
Yes.
And keep the momentum moving. And there's a lot of I like to call under the pile fucking nut grabbing when you're trying to do this.
Dude, and it's like, just because we're not sitting here replying to like one boss, the amount of plates that it takes, you got to keep spinning.
Yeah.
Because this world is hard to fucking survive in, dude. Yep. This is a difficult, it is cutthroat as fuck. Dude. It's dog eat dog.
Especially our genre, dude. Our genre, not many people have the longevity of all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, together it's a lot of
years.
To
that point, do you think Road Rules, Real World, the challenge, do you think that those franchises get enough credit for blazing the trail and for how reality television has been shaped?
Well, I mean, I do. I do in a sense, like in terms of what circles are talking in, right? Some of the older school circles are like, they always put their flag on Survivor type shows. But I'm like, the true reality genre fans know that it came from that original when Eric Nies showed up in that fucking Real World house with all the other cast members. When I'm telling you, Road Rules was a derivative of what could happen if we send the Real Worlders on the road, right? But then you have shows like The Amazing Race, Fear Factor, even The Challenge is a derivative of a Road Rules type of show.
Yeah.
So, and Survivor type. So that challenge-based reality had to come from somewhere, and we were the first. And you can argue that till the cows, come home, but like we were the benchmark that people took things from to make their future shows. It is still that bringing these people together from all walks of life in that scenario of physical reality competition that started from a Road Rules type show, even a Real World type show.
Let me ask you this.
It has to be.
Let me ask you this.
There's nothing before it.
They've tried, but if they did it again, if they were going to relaunch Road Rules, all right? I mean, you obviously, as an executive producer, for All Stars, what advice would you give them if they were going to recast it, if it was going to come back today, and what would it need to look like to work in 2025?
Tough.
See, that's, and look, do I think the fans would embrace a Road Rules spinoff? Absolutely. But you can't modernize it. In fact, to make it work the best, you have to go back to the roots and really cast these people that.
I hope the challenge producers are listening, because you got to do the same goddamn thing with a challenge, man. Keep it simple.
Yes.
You know what? Maybe they should let us cast.
Well, yeah,
let us go through these tapes. Let us find the nut jobs that we can send. Let us mentor them.
I think you would have to go back, make it simple, still have the aura and nostalgia of the first season, and like you don't need the fucking fancy explosions. You know what I mean? One of the episodes of our original Road Rules, we went to this thing and painted a huge dinosaur. But it was a funny episode because we were all having, like, it was a great episode. Yeah. We didn't light anything on fire. We didn't, you know what I mean?
Shenanigans.
It was shenanigans.
They painted us.
Dude,
naked.
I broke into a hotel, stayed in there. The manager left without knowing I was still in the shower, locked it up, and we came back, and I let the cast in. We stayed the night in there, and the producers were like, if you guys get caught for this, you're suffering the consequences. And we're like, fuck it, let's just do it. I had like a lampshade on my head, standing in the, but that was the realness and purity of it. Like now it's like, you guys have 10 minutes to eat. You guys shut up. You guys do this. You have one day off.
Producers are involved in everything. Everything's a fucking twist.
Wait, what outfit are you bringing to wear in your interviews? Can we see it?
Everything's overcomplicated now. Like, it's like, man, just like I've said, if they really, I feel like, want to appease the old school challenge fan base, or just, I think, really get people interested, you got to just go back to how simple things were back in the day. And the show Reality is Stranger Than Fiction. You put enough people in certain circumstances, you don't need constant interference. You don't need these really crazy, convoluted rules that takes a fucking micro fucking physicist to like figure out, astrophysicist to figure out
each week. Yeah.
I was like, if you're not what, as a cast member, I'm sitting there confused. I'm like, if I can't understand this fucking concept and I'm on the show, how the fuck are the fans going to?
Well, the greatest was, and you know this, the greatest challenges back in the day, which I hope, like in a big world of like an All Stars, I hope they might lean into this at some point. Like, it was so great when it was like, the challenge, Real World versus Road Rules.
Yes.
You knew the thing.
Yeah.
The challenge, good guys versus bad guys.
Yeah.
The challenge, X's.
You
knew. So like when you turn in, you're like, oh, these are X's? Oh, I get it right off the bat.
Rivals.
Like, this is it. Rivals. Even like the Gauntlets and Infernos, you're like, oh, they're teams. So this is this team. It's like, I love that purity of like those simple formats. And we actually had a ball doing it. Even Battle of the Sexes, where we had the guys' house and the girls' house. And we like did that was fun TV. And there was no bullshit like, explosions or anything. It was like I said, it was a different time. I hope they lean back into that at some point. We don't need like all the tricks and like spin the wheel of this and this and
explosions,
this and pull up this sword.
Lies and fucking,
which look, I appreciate they're trying to evolve a franchise, but it'd be nice to go back to some simple ones too.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
All right, this to both of you. What do you think the lasting legacy of Road Rules is on not just TV, but on, the people who did it, and I guess, just society and reality television in general?
Want me to start?
I mean,
Go ahead.
I just think that, when we were growing up, it was the golden age of MTV. Come home from school, fucking get a sandwich, TRL would be on.
So great.
And then Eric Neeson, The Grind would be there. And then a couple of these other shows. And then Beavis and Butthead was fucking
Beavis
around.
and Butthead, yeah, dude.
Dario was around. Fucking whatever stupid show that was. So stupid. They were both so stupid, but it was like what we grew up on, like
Ren and Stimpy.
Like Spring Break, like Ace was on the king of Spring Break back then. Yeah. Like you just had all of these, it was the golden age, and like Road Rules and Real World were the golden age of reality TV for such a long time, until all of these other, I don't want to say wannabes, but like they piggybacked off of what that was, and then they kind of spun it. It was like a spin-off, right? All these other reality shows are spin-offs off of Real World and Road Rules. Road Rules was the competition based, live in a house, experiment for 13, 14 seasons. Real World was the live in the house, experiment.
Jersey Shore.
Now you have Jersey Shore. That was around. Now you have the Housewives. And now you got,
Even on the dating shows, you have Love Island, but now you have Love Island Games. And then
Yes.
Big Brother. You have also, it's like,
they're all spin-offs of the original.
yet we don't get any,
Listen.
we don't get any credit for it.
I will say this though. I think Buna Murray gets a lot of credit for doing that first Real World and Road Rules, because that was an experiment to them. They thought, John Murray was like, you know what? I think this concept is interesting enough where people might identify this and it might be a generational show. Cut to, it's one of the biggest pop culture nostalgic shows ever. So I do think we get the credit of being like kicking down that fucking wall of that genre. I feel like we do get that credit, but like Derrick's to add on what he's saying, every other show has taken pieces of both of those shows.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
Yep.
From the Love Islands to the Survivor to this. So like
Kardashians,
everyone. And it's like, I do think a true reality genre fan or critic does give it its flowers. I don't think the novice fan of a 20-year-old today does, because some of them don't even know about it. But it was just such an epic time and period that like everyone came home to watch it. I've had so many people like, we watched the first Road Rules. I was in my college and this and that. It's like they made it. It was like a thing. It wasn't so accessible. Like I'll just watch on my phone whenever. You know what I mean? Like they made it like a family affair, and it was just the best of times.
and you remember, like I got to the point where like I would turn off my season of Road Rules because the reruns were on so much.
Right.
But like I still had to experience, like, okay, episode 1 and 2 would come out, or 3. And then on Sunday, they'd play episode 1, 2, and 3. And then the following Sunday, it would be like episode 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for like, a few months, you get those like marathons, and you get to like know the characters, and like you get to like, really like, be a part of their lives. And then like fast forward now, 20 years later, the fans are still a part of our lives.
Yeah, but we don't get the marathons anymore. We get one episode. If you manage to find it, you get it. If it's not streaming, then you just have to watch ridiculousnbe until the next week.
Right. I will say this. It was such a big, Real World and Road Rules was such a big part of pop culture in the 90s that Kobe Bryant was a huge fan.
Yep.
That's one of the reasons he came and guest starred on one of the very first challenges.
Kim Kardashian.
Kim was a huge fan. Jeff Goldblum came up to me at the Playboy Mansion and was a huge fan.
After I got off my Real World season, Will Ferrell.
Yes.
We were at a club in Miami, and Will Ferrell was like, "Hey, Bananas and Svetlana." Michael Strahan refused to take a picture with me because he goes, "Oh no, Johnny Bananas, I ain't getting in a picture with you." And then
Matthew Perry from Friends said, we used to put reruns of Road Rules on in the makeup thing all the time. In fact, on one of the episodes, I think I said this yesterday, one of the episodes of Friends, he's like, they were like, what are you doing? Whatever his name was. He's like, what do you think I'm doing? Just sitting here watching reruns of Road Rules?
Yeah.
Like, it's in an episode.
Dude,
like,
Mark Wahlberg stopped me after church.
Yeah.
After church. Leaving church.
Where do you think they got the name Johnny Bananas from for Entourage?
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember this.
When I sued HBO.
yeah.
Sorry about that. Sorry, Mark.
No, there's a lot of people.
Jonah Hill and Seth Rogen. I ran into them at the VMAs, and they literally sent for me. I had someone come to me at the bar. They're like, yo, we got some friends that want to meet you. I walk over to Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill. I'm
Dude,
like,
the
what
greatest
fuck?
story ever was Eric Nies was in the Viper room. And this was height of Eric Nies. He notices Pam Anderson, the height of Baywatch, sitting across the street or in another table. And he catches eyes with her. Her friend comes over and says, hey, Eric, I'm sitting with Pam over there, Anderson. She'd love for you to come over and meet her. He goes, no, if she wants to meet me, have her come over here.
Wow.
And she did.
Wow.
And then he ended up dating her for 9 months and almost got married.
Bill Clinton mentioned Pedro and Real World in his State of the Union address.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes, dude.
So look, in terms of pop culture and how it made an impact on the genre of reality television, it has been huge. I mean, we did, My Worst Cooks was That's So 90s, and I was the 90s reality star.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like, it's great to relive that stuff. And that's not to like toot an event, but that's why I think this Road Rules 30 in Los Angeles, that's on the 27th. It's going to be awesome. It's at 3 p.m. It's got, I think we have over a dozen ex-Road Rules at the Brea Improv, right outside of Los Angeles.
I know where it is. That's 5 minutes from my house. I'm not going to be there, unfortunately.
But it's Rachel, Tina, Shane, Keefla, myself, Darrell, Katie, and like 10 more surprises that you haven't seen. So if you guys want to come to that, July 27th, 3 p.m., Brea Improv.
Brea Improv, Orange County, California. It's so crazy.
It's going to be, like I said, we're never going to get that many road rulers in a room ever again. So if you guys are close by or can fly in for it, go to
ChallengeMania.live.
Yeah.
ChallengeMania.live for tickets.
So it's a Challenge Mania event. So, Derek, I'm assuming you're going to be there?
I am not going to be there.
Oh, you're not allowed to go.
Derek's going to be, the leash is shortened that. Right?
I will be at the Challenge Mania Live premiere party in New York City on July 30th.
Batten down the hatches, ladies and gentlemen. For season 41, the premiere is right around the corner. And if you want to catch us there, it is going to be in New York City, July 30th at the City Winery.
Doors open at 6 p.m.
All right. And if they want tickets, where do they get them? Challenge Mania.
Guys, speaking of,
that's where you can get all of your Challenge Mania.
Not to turn the tables on both of you and become an interviewer for 1 second.
You want to switch chairs?
So 41 is coming out.
It is.
And you both have been announced that you're on it. Not to give too much info away, but I mean, looking back on what you guys experience, is it a dramatic experience? Is it fun? Is it fresh? Like, give me some adjectives to describe how this is.
Here's what I will say. Do not be fooled by the absolutely ridiculous promo pictures they put out. I don't know who they've got. Someone's eating paint chips in the fucking promo pick department these days. I don't know. We might need to throw them a couple bucks just to see whatever the fuck that was.
They are interesting. They're interesting.
Interesting is one way. Please, if you haven't seen them, please go look at Anissa's. But
just really glad mine didn't look like all those.
Actually, and out of all of them,
maybe one that doesn't.
Your
look
two
like all of them,
pictures
and I got
actually
one.
look okay.
I looked fierce.
Well, Johnny's still running.
I'm still going.
Running.
But,
most of them look like they're in the mid break dance.
I will say this. So I mean, it's been announced yet. The cast is already. It's been announced already. The cast has been announced. Vets versus New Threats. We didn't know what the format was going in, but we didn't know what the structure of the game was going to be. But I remember looking over at this group and I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, every one of these dudes is dialed. Okay. These girls are obvious. I mean, very attractive cast as well. But also the girls are, dude, you've got the room that I was in. All right. I'm in a room with 3 new guys. Cedric, Will, and Jeremy. They're all 3 former Marines.
Fresh.
Jeremy's an ultra marathon runner.
Wow.
Okay. And so it was like a military barracks, dude. I'm upset. We're, chopping up stories and I'm listening to these guys talk about boot camp, being in the Marines. And I'm like, this is what I got to compete against. And then I look to my left at the vet guys that they brought in. And I'm like, guys, we're fucked. Like, this is going to be bad. And the girls the same way. I mean, dude, you've got, Lecca, former, college basketball player. You've got Sid, who's cross-country fucking collegiate marathon runner.
Wow.
You've got D, who is one of the most Survivor winner.
Enough said.
They really brought it with these new threats, and
kind of sounds like a setup.
This is what I will say. Also, a lot of times when the rookies come into the house, there's this like air of like fear or like respect that they give the vets. No shot. They gave no fucks. They came in and they were like, bananas, CT, we don't give a fuck. We're going to do whatever. Dude, your boy Gabe, former, NFL fucking WWE superstar. I'm like, this is great.
He's a hoss. Gabe is a hoss.
Yeah, I know.
Now, give me some adjectives, D, like from your experience looking back.
An adjective's a descriptive word.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fucking cool competitions on this one.
Yeah.
We get to do a lot of dope
How
shit.
does the knee hang up?
Well, listen, you guys just need to watch the launch special. I think there's already in the description that says like we're going to be climbing a mountain or something like that. So let me just tell you what we get punched in the face by at the right when we fucking walk in is absolutely insane. And let's just say, hopefully the knee holds up because when they told us what we were going to do to kick off this season against these former military fucks, I was like,
okay,
oh my God.
Better tie the sneaks a little too tight.
Oh my God. But
better put the Crocs in sport mode.
Yes.
What the fuck did they do?
Yeah.
All right.
How did they do that?
Any without giving names, any showmances happen? How about you guys?
I may or may not have dabbled in some Cuban cuisine.
Okay.
I love myself a good empanada from now and then.
All right. What about the other cast members? Any?
Okay. I will also say this. There is somebody, a female vet that you may know, who is recently out of a relationship, and she came into this season saying that she is going to focus on the game, not focus on showmances. That goes out the window real quick.
Wow.
Real
Sounds
quick.
juicy already.
Oh,
Any fight?
It definitely opens up with a train wreck.
So it's going to be from a viewer standpoint. It's going to be interesting.
I will also say this. Hold on. I will also say this, and you've seen it in the trailers. In the trailer, Turbo and CT.
Ooh.
Dude,
I love a good unhinged Turbo.
Fuck up. Yeah.
Can I just say we do get some bloody knuckles pretty early.
Yeah.
Damn. It's got all the signs of a great show.
This season's about to slap, dude.
TJ just as always just delivers.
Oh, bro, he's wearing pants so tight you can fucking
just
see
delivers.
every vein on his
Slick
scrotum.
back hair. All right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in, guys. You got me in.
Yeah.
When are we going to see you next on something?
Oh, I'm 41.
But I'm saying like anything you'd love to do, like that you haven't done.
Oh, dude. I mean, so I'm in the process. I think I told you this already. I'm in the process of creating my own docuseries.
Yes, which I better be a small part of it.
100%, dude. It's going to be based in South Florida.
Done.
We're already working with the name. I like the name Bananas Republic.
Oh, I love that name.
Yeah.
It's actually great.
So, no, it's going to be great. You're going to, the cast that we've assembled so far, you're going to see a lot. There's going to be a lot, very heavy reality television footprint, a lot of ex-challengers, real world. And then we're going to have some, bachelor some bachelor guys thrown in there as well.
Small friend going to be part of it?
I think so. We're still trying to figure that out.
Working on him. Okay.
Here's the thing.
Mini CT?
My vision for the show, what I wanted to be originally, I wanted it to be like a Jackass meets Viva La Bam. But the production company, Shed Media, they wanted to be more of, and listen, I trust them because they do all the housewife shows. They wanted to be more of like a, something that's not just all based around like shenanigans and partying.
Not all goofiness.
Yeah. Relationships, couples.
Well,
like
listen, I'll say this, in terms of your lifestyle and what you do already, that's already happening. And I will say this, the most successful reality shows are the ones that you really don't have to tweak that much.
Yeah.
So you're already living an organic lifestyle of some shenanigans, some relationships, some business. So like for me, that is always a recipe for success. So
I've also just launched my own cannabis line in Ohio called Bananabis. So if you're in Ohio, stop by a dispensary near you and ask for the Bananabis gummies. And
chocolate and banana, or are they mixed?
There's two different types. There's chocolate banana and chocolate banana sundae.
Ooh,
So it's banana with chocolate, and there's one with banana and cherry.
got it.
Yeah.
And then we have to. So I'll plug this for us. So later this month in July, and it might be in early August, but you'll get to see Johnny and I battle it out on Food Network's Grudge Match, hosted by Layla Ali. We go head to head, spatula to spatula, frying pan to frying pan.
While we're on the topic of Food Network, we also lost an absolute
Oh my goodness.
monster in the culinary world, Chef Amberell.
So sad.
Who was
My coach.
your coach. She was the coach on the opposite team when I did Worst Cooks in America. An absolute, just what a special human being, and what a loss for not just the cooking world, but
In
the
general.
world at large. She was such an amazing person, and thoughts and prayers go out to the family, and we miss you, Ann.
Yeah, she was the best. She
Yeah.
gave me shit, but she loved me.
Yeah.
Down. I love
She
it.
drew on my finger multiple times with a Sharpie because I put it on
red?
the knife. There's so many things that I took away from that show, dude, thanks to her. So,
Yeah. You're up next, D, on the Food Network, I think would be great.
God, I would love to see Derrick in the kitchen.
Dude, I would too.
sweating
He would be in
already.
a full sweat
Yeah.
at all times. I
So,
love it.
Anyways,
I'm
boys,
actually, unlike you guys, I actually am a terrible cook. And can I just?
I was a terrible
Can
cook. Am a terrible cook.
I am too.
I'm okay. He's good. Don't let him fool you.
I do my best work in the kitchen.
And look at how far we've all come since Ultimate Challenge Radio.
Right?
Oh
You know
my
how
God.
like fucking. You know how like
Johnny, poop poop pants.
You know how like probably like artists that like start off their careers like singing or like rapping or whatever, like, and they go to the studio or the lab like early on, or they just meet up and just fucking spit. You know what I mean? Like back in like 2009, before even podcasts were like as big as they are now, I was calling you guys up to be like, hey, can you jump on my
You and Kenny.
pod real quick?
No, you and Kenny.
Yeah.
No, it was us four. It was us four. You guys were always, I was viewed you three as like
We would-
a co-host.
right,
Like,
we'd hop
I can
on.
always reach out to one of you
Yeah,
right.
to help me co-host with a guest, or it would just be us talking. And here we are. That was 2009, and here we are. And we didn't know what we were doing. It was literally on the on the
OTF.
computer, and we'd hit record, and then what we got was what we got. And then, here we are in
But dude, now, like, think about it,
2025, we're doing
like,
comedy clubs,
especially-
we got that Tax and Bananas Challenge Me
You and Scott now have full-on live shows,
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
which fans love,
Yeah.
which we were part of yesterday. But I
amazing.
just think, you know what? Look, I think we all get it. You know what I'm saying? I think we all get the role that we've been placed in this wacky world, and I think we thrive in it. And I think it makes us happy, dude. Like, if I wouldn't be doing this unless I came home and was like, man, none of this feels like work.
Yeah.
That's why I guess it doesn't seem like a job, is because none of this feels like work. Like me getting to hang out with you or Scott or you or do fun stuff or come down to Boca, like none of that feels like work. So the challenge stuff is like the bonus for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like it really is like I'm living a reality show 360 days of the week. It's just every once in a while I hop up on an actual show. But like it's just such a blessing to meet like and have a family
Damn,
of
360 days in a week.
365 days a year.
That's
Sorry,
wild.
My bad.
What is that? What is
Yeah,
that?
no.
A Mars
Edit
week?
that out. Edit that out.
And I want to thank you guys for like always being there, for me and like this stupid shit that I get into. 'Cause
Name one time.
Well, let me tell you, we're going to the home run derby here in a couple
Yes.
hours, ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen. We get to
Yes.
do
Look
stuff
for
like
us. Well,
that.
it's going to be over by the time this comes out.
Listen,
but-
I will say this, and not to get sentimental, and this is fucking corny, but it's not. You two, especially out of all the cast, I consider like a brother type. You know what I mean? Like the conversations I've had with both of you, which have meant so much to me, or the fact that you put your trust in me to reach out when you need advice. It means so much. I love taking those calls. So like out of everyone, like I'm glad we're in Atlanta together. I'm glad we're doing this tonight. But like you guys to me are like my second and third brother, and I love you always forever. So don't ever feel like you can't call me.
Dude, we always do. And you know what?
and I
We
do
were
call.
also there. We were together the night that
Yes.
Derrick found out that he was having his first baby.
Yes, in Florida, Cocoa
Yeah.
Beach.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Wow.
and now he's 16.
No, I'm not ready to do this.
That was a shock, but listen,
Yeah.
now he's 16. He's an awesome kid,
Yeah.
and
Derrick-
taller than you. Is he taller than you?
Derrick Titan Awesome Kosinski.
Yeah, the
And I
greatest
remember
name
what he
ever.
said. I'm going to name my kid Awesome, just so when he's older, he knows that his dad always thought he was awesome.
Yes,
That's fucking
dude,
great.
It's great.
Yeah, dude. And just to go back to what you said and put a final button on it, man. If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
1,000,000%.
Boys, I just want to say thank you for stopping by and, chopping it up. And dude, again, Mark, like without you and what you did, coming off early on, everyone's like, oh, fucking, Bananas, like you've done so much for the challenge. But I'm like, yeah, I was simply keeping the torch lit from the ones that it was burning from before me. You know what I mean? And you were obviously one of the trailblazers, dude. You boldly went where no fucking person has ever gone before, and you did it fucking better than anyone ever could. And yeah, man, I'm just glad that we're still here talking about it today. And
thank you, brother.
Can't wait to see where we go from here.
I know it's gonna be exciting,
dude. You really are like the beacon of like the balance.
Well, thank you.
Like when we call you and we talk to you, like I think you balance us out.
Well, I hope so.
We're still like the younger, and you're the older and wiser, and like we'll always appreciate that.
Dude, love you, brother.
Love you guys, man.
Yeah, thank you, Johnny.
Yeah.
And way to continue the torch.
Hey,
and I
continued the torch.
I've always said this.
With All Stars, it's still fucking lit.
Hell yeah.
Listen, I've always said this. If there's not one person that makes this show substantially better when he is on it, it is this man. So he literally is like hiring a producer to come be a cast member as well. Like, I don't care if you're on for an episode or the whole season. When you're on there, you make the scenes better. You make the show better. So kudos to that, brother.
Well, you guys made this podcast better. With that being said, guys, thank you for stopping by the Death, Taxes, and Bananas podcast, where the tea flows like wine and my guests instinctively flock like the salmon at Capistrano and they let their phones go off halfway through the podcast. I am Oprah, and I love you.
Can we call the next one we do Death, Taxes, and Nuts and Banana?
Yes.